essentially convicted in the media. You don't have to read but a few articles to see how negative they are about him. He has a right to have this information withheld, brought out in public, so that people can see it's not this neat little package. So people can start to wonder if Brian's innocent. Your Honor, Brian is innocent.
Listen up, the ashes stir, phoenix wings unfurl, seeking truth beneath the blur. Turnings for the lax to meet the blur. Out the flames I rise, wings scorched but unbroken. Truth's the blaze I wield, every rhyme's a token. In the nest we move, hearts stumping unison. Searching for the light where the system cuts our wisdom. Built on lies and steel, they boxed us in cages. Now we break the locks, rewrite history's pages. Innocent until proven guilty, that's the oath we recite. Under this constitution we ignite the night. We rise like a phoenix and sink, we claim the street. Nest seekers united, our freedom can't be beat. Stand up when one falls, yeah we got your back. In a free land unbroken, we launch the righteous attack. Justice for the voiceless, break the chains of deceit. Innocent till proven guilty, our victory's complete. System cracked at the seams, built for just a few. We rip apart the scheme, bring the truth into view. Movement swells like thunder, souls fueled by conviction. Phoenix souls aligned, demanding our new vision. Marching on the courthouse, banners paint the sky. Echoes of freedom roar, watch the old guard comply. No more hidden verdicts, no more secrets sold. Every voice is a weapon, every story be told. Innocent till proven guilty, that's our final decree. Under this constitution we stand forever free. Phoenix in the dawn, truth ignites the sky. Together we stand tall, no more asking why. Listen up.
Hey, good afternoon, nesters. Good to see y'all back here. Whoa, SG8 agreed. Hey, oh God, it's beautiful to see you guys just welcoming one another to our little nest. Hey, OGers. Hey, great. My mods showed up. Love you guys. You guys are doing awesome. It is Friday. LFG, right, Ryan? Dylan may have not done the crime, but she sure manipulated someone to do. Go back and watch my videos. Go back and watch them, baby. If you guys aren't watching my post on the YT, you're missing out on some good info. Who is following my post? Drop a 1. Drop a 1 if you are actually following my post on the YT, guys. All right, Amanda. Hey, Sassy Frassy, what's up? Yes. TGIF. Thank the Lord. So, hey, this is what we're going to do today. Because it's an impromptu live, I still have my live doing today at 3:45. This is what I want to do. And you guys are totally, if you're open to it, I will accept any feedback, any critiques. I just figured I'd do an impromptu live dig on the new civil judgments that were released in the Kohberger case. And if you guys have any feedback that you'd like to see research live, hold it till after we go through all these. So I'm going to start right away, you guys. Okay, perfect. I have one scheduled at 3:45. It is the overview of the court documents with Brian's autism. But also in regards to that, there's something interesting that I found this morning that I want to be able to share. And I think at 3:45 at the end of the live, I'm going to drop that huge Phoenix fireball. It's pretty big, guys. It's pretty big. So I kind of want to give you a teaser at the end of the 3:45 today. If you can't make it, it's cool, but save your questions and then we'll do a Q&A live dig at the end of this live. And let's get into it because these documents are wild. The first one I'm going to start with is this was stipulated. So what does stipulation mean? It means that both the prosecuting attorney and the defense attorney agreed on something in court. Okay. So they both sat down, they looked at certain things, and then they decided that this is what they would be paying the individuals. So basically this order right here, hopefully you can see it pretty big. This order basically says, let me pop it in here, that they've agreed that the crime victims compensation program, which each state should have one, is going to be given $14,000, 300 something, right? And this is the amount that the defendant, Brian Kohberger, has to pay in regards to this case being prosecuted. So he has to pay $14,000 to the victim fund, and he needs to pay Jim and Stacy Chapin $5,720.72, and Jeffrey Kirk Kernoodle, sorry, I always say that name wrong. Jeffrey Kirk Kernodle. A lot of people are, it's not noodle, it's Kernodle. $8,843 for a total of $28,000. I'm just going to round it up to $29,000. So basically, they say that this is what he owes. This is they came to an agreement of this is what he owes. Where does that money come from? Well, it comes independently from an individual. It doesn't come from the state. A lot of people have misconceptions about where this money is going to come from. This is basically he's fined. But it's wild when you start looking at this, and it says defendant further agrees to pay such restitution with interest at the judgment rate from the date of sentencing. Well, does anybody know what the judgment rate for Idaho is at the day of sentencing? It was July 2nd. For compensation. Does anybody know what that percentage was? I'm trying to see what it is. Yeah, because being in prison in factually innocent isn't wrong enough. 20%, Gretchen? Are you sure? I believe you, but girl, I need to just check this out. 2025 judgment rate compensation. That's wild. So is it 20% total? Is it annually? What is it in federal? That's federal courts. Let me just see. Florida is 8%. It's got to be annual. They take 20% annually. Holy moly. Kernodle. The O is long and not short. Kernodle. Thank you, Ray. I appreciate that. It said everything deposit, they take 20%. Okay, everything deposited where? Let me do Idaho. And this is a live dig, so we're all learning together here. Idaho. Let's see, Idaho. So it says regarding post-judgment interest rate for July 2025. Judgment interest rate 5% plus base rate. So the base rate for 2025 was 10.1. So it's a 9.25% annum. And that's derived from the Idaho State Treasury's base rate of 5% applied annually. Wow. And the law code is 2822-104. Wow. Wow. So where does this money get taken from? Does this money that people send to him on the books? Or is this money that he's earning while he's in prison? Where does this money get paid from? Who pays this money? I don't think it's from us taxpayers. I just add, and it told me 20% of everything deposited. Let me see. If a court orders $100,000, the interest rate is 9.125 per year per Idaho. So fixed annual is 9.125. Wage, garnishment, liens, and sale of property. Can they take it from JPay, or what are they using? It's not JPay. They changed it. Because it's a form of a trust account, it's subject to court orders and garnishments. Okay, but it doesn't have, let me look in the repository real quick. It says new stipulation of restitution. It doesn't say anything that they can take it from that. I think they still have to have an order saying it can come right from that. Because let's say he gets $1 million, and I'm just saying this out of experience, because look at Jodi Arias. She had a couple $1 million in there. I know that Chris Watts has hundreds of thousands of dollars in his. And I'm wondering, are they literally able to take it out? 20% deposit on book money, so family, friends, etc. This is wild. So that's probably why they were hesitant for people to send him actual books and stuff like that, because they want the money. They want the money, and they're getting it from the public. We've got to find a somebody who actually understands this better than just some random YouTuber here. And I know about civil judgments, but this is different with somebody being incarcerated and given a judgment. It's insane. It's shady as frick. So yes, in Idaho, JPay account can be taken to satisfy judgments, but only through court orders. And I don't see a court order. I don't see anything in court order. Annie is attorney, and she said she's trying to find a workaround. Well, the only workaround I know that I have talked to an attorney about is that an attorney can file a trust paperwork, and people can donate to a legal trust fund, and they cannot touch that because it is for his law, appeal, whatever. They paused on JPay. Yeah, I saw they put a pause on it. And then they put him in a week confinement, so he couldn't have any contact with anyone. I'm watching the comments. I'm reading, guys. I see it. If he does a book or does an interview, he gets revenue for that. It will go towards restitution. Unless he does it third party. Victims and victims' families are no civil suits. Yeah. To the convicted person. Yeah. They put a pause on JPay. What does that mean? That basically they're not allowing any funds. So when they transferred him from Ada County Jail to where he is now at IMSI, they closed his account at Ada County, and there was a lag of time to put funds on his account. So I guess I have been a paralegal for criminal defense for 14 years. Okay, Miss Riss, I'm curious. I know there's a work around this. I've seen this before, but 20% of every deposit or something higher than that. So the IDOC can take that judgment from JPay because he is incarcerated by the state. And I like how they've done this quickly before he appeals. Yeah. Now, the word on the street that I've been getting is, people have been saying that they're looking at the documents more. If I was on the jury, I would have found him not guilty. So I'm curious, how many people here, after learning what they're learning, no matter what level you're at, and what do I mean by level? Like, you're just looking into it, you just realized he was innocent. Now, how many right now would not find him guilty? Drop a 1 if you would find him not guilty, and drop a 2 if you would find him guilty, and drop a 3 if you're undecided. Okay, so I'm seeing some ones rolled in. Okay. All right. So we're kind of on the like mind. I think we're, okay, 3, you're undecided. Okay, got it. That's fair. 3, we don't know what a jury would have been able to see, though. Well, see, because they do motions in limine, they limit what the jury can hear. Hey, back. Welcome in. 1 all day long. Okay, so some of us have been here from the beginning, right? And if you know anything, I followed this case in the beginning. I never reported, I never shared, because there was way too much speculation. I just kept all the information. And then when they started to release more in the courts and there was more meat and potatoes, then I started talking about it. I've always thought he was innocent. Yeah, Jojo. Now that I see more, and I am on chapter 7 of my 10 chapter book, I had to go and rewrite some things because the new ISP documents contradict what MPD is saying. And yeah, that's pretty much where I am. I believe he's pretty much factually innocent. Yeah, they tied his hands, Gretchen. I believe it. Dylan, yeah. And you know what? Something popped in my head last night about Dylan, and we'll get to that. Let me refresh my memory when we get there. Let's keep looking at this. So they can be using his JPay or whatever pay account that the general public are sending him money to be used towards that restitution. So here's a question. Can they take all of his JPay, or do they leave him with a percentage? Does anybody know that? Why didn't he provide the K-bar knife that he bought that would have been helpful in this case? Well, he never bought a K-bar knife that I have found in all the evidence. Now, what they collected and what was shared in the documents is that perhaps a professor gave him a K-bar knife back in Pennsylvania. And it was accounted for on the evidence from Pennsylvania that when the FBI went in and seized all his items, all his weapons are located and they are in the evidence file. And if you don't know how to get there, go to Pennsylvania records. I'll pull it up again. Pennsylvania Kohberger document records, and it is all public record. And you can see it right here under Commonwealth. All the inventory exhibits are here for his car and his home. It lists everything that they did in Pennsylvania, and that is available for public knowledge. So you can go and look at that. Those are something that we went over extensively in the past. So let's do this. Let's move on, because he never used a knife and never done a crime. So where's the sheath in his pictures or body cam? Yeah. They have a complete inventory of all that. When my daughter was in jail, let me see, they would take any money in her account towards her meds. I had to send it to another inmate to make an order for. Wow. I didn't even think about that. People still believe he bought it with an Amazon gift card. No, the ISP bought a knife and a sheath and a sharpener with an Amazon. Oh my God. Every time I hear that, they believe everything they've heard on the news. And I've already proven half of this stuff wrong with the court documents. Just like yesterday in the media, they shared all that shit about his professor and another. Oh my gosh. Yeah, people still believe that he bought it with a gift card, but they were never able to prove it. But ISP placed an order with a gift card for those 3 items, and they booked it into freaking evidence. Then they took that evidence to Spokane, where the autopsy doctor was, and the doctor said, yes, this is the exact same type of knife that would have made these wounds. And then they put it into evidence. Yeah, Beck. Wait, what? It didn't show him purchasing a knife. We know that, but ISP did. They made. Oh my gosh. Oh my word. This is wild. Yeah, because he never used the knife. You guys, it is crazy. On Facebook, I say he's innocent, but then rude people comment and they're mean. They start attacking me. I need to take my meds. They say I'm nutty, just like him and other things. Because this is the sad part, Lost Girl. They don't understand what the media has done to railroad him from getting a fair trial. And this is a society issue. This isn't just a court issue. In my humble opinion, this is way bigger. This is a society issue. So, Bill Thompson said he bought it with a gift card, though. Yeah, Bill Thompson said Bill Thompson can say anything. Does Bill Thompson have the evidence? No. Did they share the evidence? No. Is it in the documents? Yes. There is no gift card purchase. That was one of the biggest fallacies I've ever seen. And I'm still waiting for the smoking gun. I'm still waiting for the smoking gun that shows his 100% guilty, and we've still not found it. Santa didn't buy it. The Idaho State Police bought it, guys. The jail, let me see what this says. The jail nurse refused my daughter her meds, so I called the warden in 10 minutes. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I don't know. Is that a power trip thing in these prisons with the Department of Corrections? Wow. Are you saying the K-bar wasn't bought under the Kohberger family account? We have never seen proof of that. I'm literally looking through the file now. It's listed underneath purchases on that account. If you find that, let me know. And how can they prove it was actually Kohberger if it was on the family account? That has been the biggest mystery. I thought it was MPD. No, let me show you the MPD. Let me show you exactly. Hold on, I was on a different page. Let me show you. And ISP, hold on a minute, I'm trying to remember. Let me look at my notes and I'll tell you what document it is. Evidence 533, hold on. I remember the evidence number. Okay, so let me pull it up. Let me grab it. I have a little handy dandy guide, so hold on. Let me see. Okay, where are you at when I need it the most? See, when I'm on the fly. Let me see. I know it was evidence 5. Was it 553? No, 533. Or maybe it was 133. Hold on a minute, guys. Evidence number. They booked it into evidence for sure. 533. Where is it? No, that says it's an orange vest. Hold on. Does anybody remember the document number? Let me just see. Where is it? Search that said they took the knife, but not the murder weapon. Yeah, there were 3 knives. I believe there were 3 or 4 knives they took in. They took in a Glock and they took in some other things from his house in Pennsylvania. Where in the world is that ISP document? Hold on. Let me look in my repository because I've got it all separated. Let me grab my glasses. Okay, here we go. Cole, Matt Moy, redacted eBay warrant for the K-bar. Redacted tip, redacted, Tinder, initial purchase, warrant, K-bar. I should put this in a document so I can search easy. ISP. Hold on, I know I have it. Where are you at? FBI house turned over, storage units, false tip, K-bar found, that wasn't the one, redacted, Snapchats, Kohberger. Oh my gosh, where is this document? Meeting with the coroner rep. Here it is. Supplement 210. Okay, here we go. Supplement 210. Let me see what page this is on. These supplement numbers, they are wacky. So 210. Bingo. Here we go. So let me see what this says. 210. 210 is when they go to the coroner. And this is how I put these two together. So let me show you this. So 210 is here. Danny Vargas collects all the evidence. And they go to Spokane. Oh, 733. That's why I messed it up. Okay, I know this is kind of small, but let me see if I can get it bigger. So they go and they lock the item 733 into temporary lockbox. Okay. Then they remove the item 733 and they go to Spokane. But if you go to item 733, it's going to pop up in this searchable MPD. And here is the actual freaking document, guys. Let me read this. I know we've gone over this one before. Brett Payne makes this statement on 6/13/23. And it says, Amazon ISP, that's the Idaho State Police Amazon purchase. And it gives evidence. Into evidence, item 733, item 734, item 735. What they did is let me read it, then we'll go over it. It says on Tuesday, June 13th, 2023. This is what, 6, 7, 8 months after the unalivings, the murders. Detective Darren Gilbertson from ISP provided me with 3 packages he obtained by ordering the items from Amazon. Detective Gilbertson stated he purchased the items in the same fashion used by Kohberger to purchase a K-bar with sheath, K-bar sharpener, and a bottle of the vegan supplements. I photographed each of these packages and their content along with the order paperwork Detective Gilbertson provided. The packages contain 1 K-bar straight fighting knife with leather sheath, a K-bar sharpener, a bottle of the vegan supplements. I took pictures and I put it into evidence. The paperwork was included in the package containing the knife itself. Okay, you guys got it, right? They put that into evidence. They put that into evidence. So hopefully y'all caught that. There's some other things that go with this one, but for now, we'll just go with that. So in regards to, let's go back. So they can garnish money in JPay's account, in the trust account, and they can garnish other things if by proper court order. So yeah, they can take it, but they don't have to, let me ask, can he keep, I've got somebody that I've been chit-chatting with, can he keep any money to use himself while in prison? Let me see if she responds to me while I'm on live. Yes. Hold on. Let me see what she sends me in a few minutes. Okay. By law, they need to have 10% of every deposit. So whatever he gets, 10% could be used for his everyday needs. But the total they can deduct is capped. Wow. They play by different rules, guys. Wow. They don't let him keep much. Yeah, she said 10%. Anything he gets deposited, a minimum of 10%. No, that's not much, especially how expensive it. I don't know how much things are in there, but she said they could use the rest of it for commissary phone calls, medical if required, and postage. Wow, I can't imagine. No wonder why the guys that are in prison, and this is just one side note, I don't know if you guys know, I've been talking to some people in prison that I found this like TikTok community, and they're in that prison, and they actually say that it sucks if you're in prison. I'm not talking to murderers or anything like that. I'm just talking to people that did stupid shit and ended up in prison and got caught. This one guy that's been in there for a year, he's got 2 years left. Ironically, I know a friend of his wife in Idaho. And he says it sucks because they got divorced and now they take money from him for child support. So he has almost nothing. And I started laughing. I'm like, boys, really sucks. You're in prison. Well, you don't really need any money in prison except for your basic needs, right? Or above and beyond. You've got 3 meals. You've got toilet paper provided. You've got water. You've got a roof over your head. Yeah, you've got all that stuff. So innocent men and women go to jail all the time. Yeah, they do. 95% of conviction of those in prison have done through plea deals. So only 5% go to trial. And that's a statistic that we shared the other day that just blew me away. But yeah, he says basically that you don't need any money. You're not going out drinking. You don't really can get smokes and things like that. But, child support's paid from whatever he gets. And he's got, you guys, he's got women sending him money to pay for his child support, guys. I'm thinking to myself, what is this world we live in right now? But hey, if this guy is single in prison and is getting women to send him money so that his child support's paid, then yeah, it's wild. Money's power there. Yeah, I agree. Oh yeah, they'll take child support too. They barely feed you as it is. So yeah, no money. Yeah, that's so true, Gretchen. Yeah, he told me. Crazy. All right. So I can't either. Let's get back onto this restitution that they have stipulated. So basically, the Chapin and Cornodal family sit down and they stipulated, okay, this is what he owes them. Wow. I was like, wow, okay. So then the other new orders that came out today, and some of them are still being filed, new restitution order for JK. So in order of restitution, they say that he has to pay Jeff Kernodle $8,000, and that's basically the broken down from the stipulation they agreed on, right? That's the same exact amount that is in the other one. And this says the current rate that I told you. The current rate is 9.125% per year if until paid in full or for such further cost and disbursements. So basically, this is the actual order of restitution saying that he has to pay 9% every year until it's paid. So right there, you can see it a little bit bigger. 9%. Wow. 8,000 at 9%, that's an extra 50, 60 bucks a month. If he, that's a really hard one, Miss Riss. Even if he spoke out from prison and got some type of deal to pay all this back, he's factually innocent. So how would he get all this money back if he took it? It's like a catch-22, right? It's kind of like he's playing the long game. If he is factually innocent, 100 did not do this, he's not going to speak just yet, because they're going to take all that money to pay these people who've accused him of this and put that money back into the court victims fund. I mean, it's weird. It's a business. This justice system is a business. Can his parents tell the story and pay the victims? Can his parents tell? Oh, well, I guess his parents could tell the story. Yeah, and pay it off for them. But if the parents tell the story and the parents, it's the parents' income, it's not his, there's no way they can take it from the parents unless a court order, and he's an adult, and he's not under any power of attorney or anything like that, of guardianship, I don't believe. So, I mean, they could keep the money and then they'll just owe him on the books. I mean, that's what I think, humbly. That's my opinion. SG, did you take a plea deal for a class 1 felony? I am very irritated and they didn't take this to trial. You know, Miss Riss, it is public record in Oregon. I don't know what the outcome of his case was. I didn't ask for the records. I didn't go pry for the records. But whatever deal was made with SG in the state of Oregon is pretty much public. I don't know the whole deal to the theft charge that's out there. So I don't know. I can't say anything more about that. What's SG going to do with all the GoFundMe collected? Well, they said they were going to give it back. That's another scam, by the way. They said they were going to give it back. It's not the prosecutor's job to argue with the court, like sell some pictures. If he's innocent, what? Okay, this is a good question. If he's innocent, what happens to the money he paid to the families? He hasn't paid anything to the families that I'm aware of. They just put the order of restitution in today. How would that play out? Well, whatever we give him is going to go to pay the families. I'm not putting any money on his books. I'm not putting any money on his books because that's going to Steve G and the rest of these people. So when the fact is, until they work this out, don't get me into your crime, Michael, so hot, you're funny. Until they work this out, then I would wait till an attorney, the family or him has to pick an attorney, and then they'll start a legal trust. Leave the G alone while lying, dying gets over 100K. Yeah, pretty much. They've all made money in this. Les, what'd you say? I'm an American and I've taken a plea deal I didn't do because I was told I would lose my case and get a harsher punishment. Absolutely. People are told this all the time. All the time. Now, I stuck to my guns. I knew I was innocent. And when I proved my innocence, the special attorney that was involved in the state of Idaho sealed my case because they wanted to hide it quick. Okay? When they know you're innocent and they've charged you and they've wrongfully arrested you and they know they're in trouble, yeah. There are people who take plea deals all the time because that's how our system is set up. They strong arm you, they chokehold you, they put you in the back up against a corner, and you have to do whatever they say. It's terrible. And that's my humble opinion. That's none of my guest opinion. That's my opinion. And this is awful. Have you guys looked into the people that are donating? I mean, they put their names out there. They're public. They're UI alumni. U of I is donating this money to her. A lot of individuals that have graduated, a lot of sorority people, a lot of frats are donating to this fund, guys. I've shared that before. It's public knowledge. Okay, so let's do this. I'm doing talk to text. I'm stuck in traffic. Boy, I was stuck in traffic the other day. Okay, so let's look at the next order that's on the docket, and new order for restitution for EC. So this is the same one, same amount. I'm going to put it up on the screen, blow it up for you guys. This is the same one. And this is a judgment, an order of restitution in regards to Stacy and Jim Chapin. And it's ordered, and this is weird because this is what doesn't make sense to me. They have an order of restitution in Idaho. They live in Washington. And they've sat down and they agreed that they would take $5,000 in restitution, and the judgment rate is 9.25%. Those two families sat down and stipulated. They agreed. But the other families that I'm going to show you, there's a restitution of court services that I spoke of. So those three orders that they already sat down and they worked it out is what the order of restitution was. And that was the stipulation. Those were the ones that were stipulated, that they agreed on. The next order is a new civil judgment fine to the victim, JK. And this is kind of the standard civil fine. So JK is going to get $2,500 in addition to what I just showed you on the other document, in addition to the $8,000. So he'll be getting $2,500 in addition to the $8,843. Jim and Chapin, in regards to the next one, is going to get $5,000 in addition to the other $5,000 X amount of dollars that they agreed on. And this is their civil judgment fine. So, 10,000 at 9, whatever. They've just broken it down to what the fines are. And then obviously there's all these other civil judgment in regards to JK. We'll look at this one first. So this is the new, that's the JK. This is KG. So this is Kaylee. So pursuant to the law, the civil fine for Steve and Christy for Kaylee is $5,000. And the new judgment fine for the civil fine for that one we just went over. So that one's already done. Kara is awarded $2,500. That's the civil judgment for her. And then the last one they have on here is Ben Mogan for $2,500. That was the civil fine. That's the civil fine. So it looks to me, in my humble opinion, there is no restitution on file for Karen Laramie. Hold on. Did I miss one? Oh, here it is. Okay. Let me retract that. Hold on. So there is, let me see if it's on the screen. Okay, yeah. So there is a judgment civil fine for Karen Laramie in the amount of $2,500. With that being said, there is no order of restitution for the other families. I don't see a restitution and judgment for Karen Laramie. I don't see anything for restitution for the Mogans. And I don't see any restitution judgment for Kaylee. So those three people do not have an order of restitution. So remember when I said, and I'll share it again, remember when I said that Latah County, the prosecution, and the defense, see how they both signed this? They both agreed, they stipulated that they would pay these amounts for restitution. So that the other families obviously are not in agreement with a stipulation for restitution. So I'm wondering, because the Steve G, they have attorneys, and so does Karen for Maddie Mogan. So it looks to me like the Chapins and the Kernodle basically agree that they got restitution. They're not going to sue anybody. They're not going to, they could bring a civil suit against Brian Kohberger, but it looks to me that they have agreed on the restitution. It looks to me that the other two have not agreed on any restitution yet. And, a lot of people are saying, well, what is the difference between a civil fine and restitution? The civil fine is state, right? And restitution in a crime is, how do I want to say that? It's kind of money that the convicted person, the defendant, has to pay a victim of a crime. So the purpose is to make the victim whole again, which you never can in this case, in my humble opinion. It's to cover direct financial loss caused by the crime. Okay? It's kind of like think of it as a payback for the harm done, but it's in a financial sense. It's not a punishment. So you have to look at restitution like, did it cover hospital bills, therapy, medication, lost wages, funeral costs, counseling, trauma? In a criminal court, the judge includes restitution as part of the sentence, kind of like in good faith. And since he pled guilty, they can do this. And restitution is paid, obviously, from, like I talked about, JPay or whatever they're using, Access or something like that, automatically. If they're on probation or parole, if ever, they get it, obviously, from a civil judgment. If your work, they can garnish and stuff like that. But restitution is the money paid. It goes directly to the victims' families. Okay? It's about compensating them, not punishing the offender. That's what prison time and fines are for, the civil fines. So hopefully that makes sense with everything that they just released today. Now, let's get into it, because you guys have got some hot topics you want to cover. So let's look at, there was a question earlier. Let me see a minute. I really feel everyone is angry with the prosecution and police that they're taking anger out on. They are victims. I don't know why they're getting so much hate. Yeah, I don't know why either. I think it's just the whole gist that they were put out in front of the social media aspect, the media aspect, and they put out some bogus information. And now we're reading through all these documents. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that they said that never made sense. And now we know why it doesn't make sense, because it wasn't true in the documents either. So, are there photos of the remodel? They could have. Of what remodel? Of the remodel that the Steve G is going through? Well, I've shared that in the past. There are Venmo receipts that they remodeled the bathroom and did some other things. I don't know if they're going to return the GoFundMe money. Has anybody got anything? Have you seen any returns come through if you donated? Now, there's this big uproar on TikTok in regards to Miss Dillon's GoFundMe. I know there's so many people upset with this. And I mentioned earlier today in a post, if you're not watching my post, definitely watch my post. I'm going to share something with you real quick. I lost my place marker because I was in the middle of doing this. Hold on. Let me grab my document and I'll show you something. Okay. 89. Hold on. After I knock everything over. 89. Okay. Let me pull this. It is 89, right? Okay. All right, I'm going to put this on the screen. I want you guys to watch this real quick. Let me see. Bear with me. Where's 89? That's 42. Hold on. I thought I put the page. Maybe I didn't write the page number. I'm bad with that. I put the document, but not the page number. Dang it. All right. Let's watch this video real quick. I'm going to show you something. Okay, I'm probably going to get hit with the music violation, but that's okay. Now, I wanted to show you this video for the simple fact only, because this statement that I'm going to show you next, I kept trying to say, where's the discrepancy? Did everybody just see the video? Drop a 1. This is Maddie Mogan's TikTok. And this was the Friday night of October 9th, 2021. This was a year prior. So Maddie Mogan, which you see at the end of this video, and Bethany have been friends for, I don't know, maybe a year or so. So you see Maddie at the end. But also, I want to show you something real quick. Let me see if I could pull it up while you're there. Let me see if I can find it. I wasn't prepared to show this to you, but I'm going to do it anyways. Because it came out when I was reading something and I was like, what? What? I've always believed this and it's not true at all. Okay, here's the video. Here's the second video. Hold on. I am going to mute it, but you don't have to listen to the music to understand what's going on. Okay? This is Kaylee's TikTok. And this was posted October 13th, 2022. Just a month before, right? A month before. So watch and see who's in the video. Okay, you've got Maddie Mogan. I believe this is Xana in the background. Is that correct? Is this Xana or another friend? Dylan and Bethany are full of, yeah, I think one of them is more fuller than they want us to believe. Then here is Bethany, Maddie, Kaylee. I don't know who this other person is on the left side, but I believe the person on the right side is Xana. And this was their circle of friends. Okay. I don't know who that other person is on the left, though. I haven't figured that one out. Okay. So I just wanted to play those two videos because I'm going to read something to you as soon as I pull up 89. Hold on. And I kept saying, why is there such discrepancy between Bethany and Dylan? I mean, if you guys have caught on to this, awesome. Because I've been talking about it for a while. Nobody wants to talk about it, right? And so I came across Moscow Police Department. In their files, they report that Bethany Funk. Where is my guide? Hold on a minute, guys. I apologize. I wasn't ready to share this, but I wanted to share it since we were live. Bethany Funk states that when they return home, they, meaning Kaylee and Maddie, when they return home from the grub truck, Bethany states that her, Maddie, and Kaylee go to Kaylee's room. We've always believed, here's the statement that I put out on YouTube. BF states Kaylee, Maddie, and BF hung out in Kaylee's room, not Dylan. Dylan was with LM, and LM left before LM left. And per Bethany Funk, Dylan went to bed. So, okay. So the time frame is 2:30 to 3 that Bethany says Maddie went out to look for the dog, Murphy. Bethany went with Maddie to take Murphy out. And then Bethany left Maddie outside because the dog needed to go outside and she was cold. Okay, so I'm going to put this into perspective for you guys now. Okay? You had 2 stories. Now you have 3 different stories. Okay? So the lie was Dylan was in the room with all 3 of them. And if you haven't seen the video of Dylan that Maddie Mogan played on her TikTok, I'm going to show you now. It's the famous one.
Don't wear that outfit again.
You fucking asshole! You fucking liar! You fucking manipulator!
Don't wear that outfit again.
Now that was loaded and shared on 10/30/2022. All right? Just 2 weeks before that. Now, you have Maddie outside with the dog, Murphy. You have Kaylee in her room, allegedly alone. And then you have Xana and Ethan, who are unaccounted for. Nobody knows where they are because they never returned home, not per any of the documents, not per any of the evidence in ISP. They never returned home. There is no proof that they ever returned home. Okay. Now there is no cam to prove that Kaylee and Maddie took Murphy out. But Bethany is the one that states Maddie and Bethany took Murphy outside, but Bethany came back because she left Maddie alone outside. So Maddie is alone outside. Kaylee is in her room outside. Dylan allegedly is in her bedroom. LM allegedly left after watching all 3 of them watching Vampire Diaries. That would be Dylan, Bethany, and LM. And 3 witnesses see Bethany, Dylan, and LM outside at 2 a.m. Now, allegedly between 2:30 and 3, this is when Bethany says that Maddie was outside. Maddie was outside with the dog for half an hour alone. So do you guys understand? Yeah, Bethany also says she went to sleep at 2:30. Yeah. So now we have a third different scenario that has presented itself with the whole timeline shift. And if you don't know by now, they're all lying. They all have a different account. They all have a different story. They're all inaccurate. They all have made such a mess of it. A lot of people have Christina. A lot of people have, especially with the new documents that were released from ISP, the blood in her jacket, the blood. And believe me, guys, the cops were like, we got to get your stuff back. We definitely have to get your stuff back. And if you haven't looked at MPD 56, that document, there's an LM in Seattle that bought a K-bar sheath and a K-bar and all this other stuff. And I'm wondering if that's the same LM that they're talking about. I don't know. But that was something that was interesting that we had found early on. But in BF's interview, the timeline ends for them at 3. Maybe that's why we don't see the timeline continuing on Linda Lane. At that time, they've cut all that out, and they've only given us some things. And I showed you last night where they sped up on the video that was released from the balcony at 1102 Lane, King Road, sorry. That didn't make sense either. So we have 3 scenarios now. Maddie's alone in her room. I'm sorry, Kaylee's alone in her room. Maddie's outside. And remember the jacket that you see outside on some of the videos, if you've been following this for a while? Is that the last place where Maddie was seen outside? That could be. And everyone else has said that her friends have said there was some report of a stalker. No one has been able to verify that. And did you know that when, I'll show you the document. Hold on. Did you know that when Karen Laramie was asked at the police station, when she was being interviewed and they were telling her what was going on, they asked her, by chance, was anyone being stalked? And she basically said no. She had no knowledge that anyone was being stalked. None. And what was the headlines of the Target that all these people were being stalked? That Maddie was the target. Maddie was being stalked. Well, that wasn't the case either. And that document is page 540 in MPD, and I'm going to show you right now. So all the frats and all the people who were saying, yeah, they had a stalker and they were outside. It's only certain people that are actually sharing that information. The parents, I don't know if SG knew or there was anything on file or anything to back that claim up, but it was everyone else that was saying that they had stalkers. So right here, page 541, I'll share this with you so you can read it. 541, they interview Karen Laramie right here. I spoke with S and K, that's Scott and Kay, in the lobby interview room. They told me they had a great relationship with Madison. She got along with everyone. She had a strong relationship with her boyfriend, JS, who lives in Boise, and that she had gone to Boise to see him the weekend prior. Madison and Jay had been dating for about 1.5 years, and Jay is from blank. I asked, this is Lawrence. This is Lawrence asking. I asked if there were any problems with past boyfriends, and there were none to their knowledge. Then he goes on to ask, I asked if Madison had mentioned any stalking behavior from anyone or anyone that made her uncomfortable. And she said she never spoke of anything. And they said she never spoke of anything. He missed the why. So no, their parents weren't aware of any stalking. None. But it seems to me, after reading these documents and taking notes, a lot of the fraternity and a lot of the frats had put this narrative out there that, yeah, there was some boogeyman in the woods. And then obviously in October, there were some people that were following her in Winco. So I'm curious, now that we know there was no stalking, because even the authorities backed up there was no stalking. If you take that out of the equation, we know there's no motive. We know that he could be factually innocent by there's no evidence. So who do you think this murder, who do you think was involved? Who do you think was involved? Now, I think the cops, obviously Rosendahl was at a call at 3:38. Tesdahl was at another call at 3:38 a.m. They've cut out all the Linda Lane footages, so you can't see at 3:38 what actually happens. You can't hear anything. You can't see who drove by there, or was there an influx of vehicles. You can't see anything. They've deleted it. And the only video that could prove that time, they have sped up. And then the witnesses that say they walked by there at approximately that time, they went to bed by 4, so they walked around there by that time. They heard the loud music in the house. And then you have Molly, yeah, all the lights were on. And they see this girl ducking. Crazy, crazy stuff. Drop your comments. Like always, I appreciate every single one of you. Do you think we'll ever get to the bottom of this? Type a 1 for yes, a 2 for no, and a 3, who gives a frick? We'll see you guys later. Be well.
Essentially convicted in the media. You don't have to read but a few articles to see how negative they are about him. He has a right to have this information withheld, brought out in public, so that people can see it's not this neat little package. So people can start to wonder if Brian's innocent. Your Honor, Brian is innocent.